In this video, we are going to learn how we can create a social media report using BigQuery. We are going to use Porter metrics to send the tables to Google BigQuery, and then we're going to connect the tables inside Google BigQuery to Looker Studio to do the visualization. Let's go into it. I'm already logged in my Porter metrics account, and the first thing is to click on Create. Then I will click on BigQuery. I will select the data sources I want for this connection. Since this is a social media report, I will select Facebook Insights, LinkedIn Pages, and TikTok Insights. Of course, you can select as many as you want. Then you click on Next. Now I'm going to connect the accounts from the data sources I just selected. I will start with Facebook Insights. I can either add a new profile to get more accounts, or I can select accounts that I have connected previously. In this case, I will select some previous accounts. Then I will click on Save. You can select as many accounts as you want. I will do the same for LinkedIn Pages. I click on Save, and now I will do the same for TikTok Insights. I click on Save, and then I click on Next. In this window, we will do the configuration of the table we will be sending to Google BigQuery. We don't have to change anything right now in data sources. Now I click on BigQuery. Here I select the Google Cloud account where I will be sending the table we are creating. I click on the dropdown, and you will see all the Google Cloud accounts that are connected to this Porter profile. In this case, I'm going to select my Google Cloud account, Santiago Cardoso. And now I'm going to select the project ID. Before clicking on this dropdown, I want to show you what are the project IDs that I have in my Google Cloud account. So let's go into it. I'm in my Google Cloud account, and right now we are in the marketing data test project. If I click on it, you will see what are the projects that I have in my Google Cloud account. In this case, I have my first project and marketing data test projects. Those are the only two projects I have. Inside Porter, when you click on the project ID dropdown, the projects that you will see are the ones that are inside your Google Cloud account. That's why you only see marketing data test project and my first project. So I will select marketing data test project. Now I select the dataset location. I will choose US multi-region. We already did a video around dataset locations. You can go and check it out. And now I'm going to pick my dataset. When you click on the dropdown, you will see the list of datasets available in your Google Cloud account. So let's take a look in my Google Cloud account to see what are the datasets that I have available now. So I'm in my marketing datatest project, and I'm in the dataset location. So I have right now ecom report data, marketing ads, and test dataset. Those are the three datasets that I have available. If I go back to Porter and I click on the dropdown, you will see that the datasets listed are the same that were in Google Cloud. When I'm selecting the dataset here in Porter, I have an option that it says create new. I have two options here. I can either select from a previous dataset, or I can create a brand new dataset that eventually, when we run the query, will appear in my Google Cloud account. So to create a new dataset, you can have two options. You can either create it right from Porter, or you can go into your Google Cloud account, you click on datasets, and then you click on create dataset. You fill out the dataset ID, the data location, and then you hit on create dataset, and then you will have it listed here. For now, I will create the new dataset right from Porter because it's a lot easier. It doesn't require me to move from platforms. So I will name this new dataset as social media report data. And now I'm gonna name the new table that we will be creating. In this case, will be followers data. Awesome. Now let's pick the metrics. Remember that metrics are numbers. Anything that you can count is a metric. So we're gonna select some metrics for this table. I will click on metrics, and I will select Facebook page total followers, then TikTok total followers, and then LinkedIn pages total followers. Awesome. Now I'm gonna create a custom metric. So we'll click on create metric, and with natural language, I will be able to tell the AI to help me with the formula. In this case, I will say some Facebook page total followers, TikTok total followers, and LinkedIn pages total followers. I click on the arrow. I see my formula here. I will name this new metric as total followers, and I click on create. I forgot to name this query, so I'm going to change the name to followers data. It's just because I like to name my queries exactly as the name of the tables I will be ingesting into Google BigQuery. And now I'm going to select my dimensions. In this case, I'm going to pick date. I'm going to select the date range I want for this query. I will select this year to date. I will refresh my table. Remember that here you will only see a preview, it's not the full data. When you send it to Google BigQuery, will be a lot bigger. Now I'm going to sort this table by date in a descending way, so that way the most recent date appears at the top and the latest at the bottom. I will schedule the backfills of this table. I will say every day at 8 a.m. You can do it more complex. You can say only Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, and the AI will understand it. You click on the arrow. Now I'm going to select my settings, and I'm going to select override. We have already done a video around append, update, and override and what they mean. You can go and check it out in the top right corner. And before sending this table to Google BigQuery, I'm going to do some few changes. I will change the date range from this year to date to last 30 days. And I will add a new dimension that will be blended account ID. All right, now I'm ready, and I'm going to run the query so I can send it to Google BigQuery. It says that the query was executed successfully. Now let's go into Google BigQuery and see if this table is already there. And now I'm here in my Google Cloud account. In my Google BigQuery account, I will click on dataset. Remember that we created a new dataset. So here it is. It says social media report data. I click on it. And now this dataset has a table inside of it that it's called followers data. If I click on it, I will be able to see the schema details. And if I click on preview, I will see the actual table. Now we are going to create a new table for this social media report using BigQuery. So we are going back to Porter metrics. If we are here in my queries in the connection we just created, we see the followers data. That was the first query we created, the table that we just ingested inside Google BigQuery. And now we're going to click on new query. We're going to change the name of this new query. I will call it engagement data. That will be the same name I will give to the table inside Google BigQuery. That's just my practice. You can name it different inside Porter and in your Google BigQuery. It's just that this works a lot better for me to have my data organized. Now I'm gonna continue with the BigQuery tab. I'm gonna choose my Google Cloud account. I will pick mine. Then I'm gonna select the project ID. It will be marketing data test project, the dataset location, US multi-region, the dataset. You can see that we have now the social media report data displayed in the options because with the previous table, we created that dataset. And I'm gonna give a new name to this table. I will call it engagement data. Awesome. Now I'm gonna pick the metrics. I will select blended post likes, blended post shares, blended post comments, blended post reactions, blended post reach, Facebook post reactions, Facebook post shares, and TikTok video likes, TikTok video comments. Now I'm gonna create a new metric. I just type some blended post comments, blended post shares, and blended post likes, and divide them all by blended post reach. I specify that this is a percentage. I click on the arrow. Now the formula was made for me with AI. It seems right. I give a name to this new metric. In this case, will be engagement rate. And now I click on create. Perfect. Now I have my new metric in the table. And I will add some dimensions. I will select date, blended post URL, blended data source name, blended post type, and I will follow with the date ranges. Just before continue, I want to let you know what are these blended fields. Basically, what we do is that since we are merging different data sources, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok, in this case, what we do inside Porter is that we already map what are the fields that in these three different data sources means the same, but probably they have different naming in each of the platforms. So we blend them so that way we can have a unified view in the table. That's why I'm choosing these fields. Now I'm going to select the date range. I will select it to last 30 days. I think I will not apply any filter, and the sorting will be based on the date, descending. We'll schedule the refresh of this table every day at 8 a.m. I click on the arrow, and now in the settings, I select override. I save my query, and I run this query. And if I go to my Google BigQuery and click on datasets, I select my social media dataset. There I will have my engagement data table. Awesome. Now let's do a new query for the social media report that we will be doing. Now let's see how we can connect these tables to Looker Studio, and let's create a quick dashboard around these tables. Let's go. To connect these BigQuery tables to Looker Studio, we can do it in multiple ways. Let's see this one first. So whenever we are in Porter, you can see that when we are creating the table, in the top right, there's a button that says View in Looker Studio. If you click on that button, then you will be redirected to Looker Studio. You will have to review the data access. You click on Acknowledge, and automatically you will see a layout with a title, date range filter, and a table. But here in the right, you will see that one of the data sources of this Looker Studio report now is post performance. That is the post performance table that we created inside Porter metrics. And below this line, we will have all the dimensions and metrics we added to the table inside Porter. This is one option. I'm going to change the name of this report to social media report Porter connection. And the other option is that you can start right from scratch. You can go to Looker Studio, you click on blank report, and you select BigQuery as a connector. You will have to search for your project. In my case, I will go to my projects. I will select marketing data test project, and I will select the dataset that contains the table of this social media report. That is the dataset social media report. And there I have my three tables for this report. That will be engagement data, post performance, and followers data. I'm going to click on add. And as soon as I do that, now you see that here in the data panel, we have a data source named post performance. That is the table that I have inside my Google BigQuery. I'm going to change the name of this report to social media report manual connection. And now we can create the report. Now we are gonna add the other two tables. We're gonna hit on add data. We click on BigQuery and we do the same process. I go to marketing data test project. I go to social media report data dataset, and I click on engagement data, and I add it. Now you see that we have two data sources, post performance, engagement data. And let's add the third one. We click on add data, BigQuery. You select your project, you select the dataset, and you select the table. In this case, followers data. We add it, and now we have the three data sources right here. I'm going to select a responsive layout for this report. Let's start by changing the title of this report. I'm going to call it social media report. Now I'm gonna click on insert. I'm gonna click on a scorecard, and I'm gonna add a scorecard here. By default, the metric of all the scorecards will be record count. So we are gonna change that, and now we change it to total followers. You can see here that in the primary field, we selected total followers. According to this, we have 9 million. Perfect. Now I'm gonna create a table. I'm gonna click on insert table. I'm gonna change the data source from engagement data to followers data. I'm gonna change the style of the table because I don't like the raw numbers, so I'm gonna remove them. Now I'm gonna go back to the setup, and I'm gonna change the metric. I'm gonna take that metric out, and I want you to take a look that right now the dimension is blended account ID. There is one that appears here. I'm gonna remove the record count, and I added four new metrics that will be Facebook page total followers, LinkedIn pages total followers, TikTok total followers, and the sum of all of them, so that I can have them break down by account ID. Now I'm gonna add a new chart. I'm gonna click on insert. I'm gonna click on time series chart, and I'm gonna see how it's the progress of our followers over the last 7 days. So I'm gonna go. I select my total followers over time chart, and on the setup, I will go to default date range, and I'm gonna click on custom. That way, I can select which time period I want to see. I will click on the auto date range dropdown, and I will select last 28 days. So that way I can see the progress of my total followers over the last 28 days to see if we are flat, if we have grown a little or not. I will click on apply, and now you can see it there. I will also add a control here. So I will click on drop down list, and I will select the blended account ID. So that way I can filter this data on a specific account. Perfect. Now I will insert a new chart. Okay, now I'm gonna add a new table. I'm gonna click on insert. I will click on setup, and I'm gonna change the data source. In this case, it's gonna be post performance. I'm going to change the style so that I can remove the row numbers of this table. I remove it, and now I will bring as dimensions the blended post URL, so that way I can click on it and see what is the post I'm looking at. I remove the date, and as metrics I took blended post reach, blended post reactions, and engagement rate. That way I can see real quick what are the best posts that I've done so far. And this is how you can create a social media report in Looker Studio by connecting it to Google BigQuery tables.